Hello, thank you so much for joining me here at the First Alert Desk on Atlanta News First Plus. We're following a breaking news situation, as you can see here, where we are learning that a Spalding County deputy has been shot. There is currently an ongoing scene right now in the Spalding County area involving what the sheriff's office is saying is a gunman barricaded inside of a home. We are working on getting you some live pictures. We do have our Atlanta News First crew that is headed there right now. They will be there within the next hour, and we will hopefully get you seen from the ground up closer. In the meantime, I do want to show you right here, look at Grady Hospital, where we do not have confirmed information of whether that deputy is going to be taken to this hospital, but we do have a crew that is staged here in case that this is where the deputy arrived. Now, to give you some background information and really everything that we have learned so far, we do know that recently a Spalding County deputy was shot, and the suspected gunmen then barricaded themselves inside of a home. Now, that is directly from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We did also learn that this is on Deason Street and Vineyard Road in Spalding County. You can't see the map. I'm working on pulling that up for you, but it is a residential area. Really not a busy road, but one that traffic passes through. And we do know that right now a suspected gunman has barricaded themselves inside of one of these homes on Deason Street and Vineyard Road. That is just outside of Griffin, to give you some context. Now, currently the details are very limited, and we're working on getting some questions answered. I do believe we have some viewer video that we'll get you to in a moment that we did receive into our newsroom just moments ago, so still very fresh information. The Georgia State Patrol said that they are assisting the sheriff's office at this time. We do believe there are other law enforcement agencies, however, working to confirm exactly which law enforcement agencies are involved. And as I mentioned earlier, Atlanta News First does have a crew on the way that is going to hopefully get you a visual from the ground. Meanwhile, the team here in the newsroom working to talk to these officials, these agencies that are responding, and get you more information. I know some of you live out in the area or have loved ones in that area, so we're going to get you as much information as possible. But if this road sounds familiar to you, the Deason Street and Vineyard Road area. Maybe it's something that you pass through. Maybe you have someone who lives nearby, just outside of Griffin. You just want to avoid that area as best as possible. Let law enforcement do their jobs right now. It's a very sensitive situation, a very urgent situation, as we're learning from the sheriff's office that a suspected gunman has barricaded themselves in a home and a deputy has been shot. I'm going to try to work on getting you some additional visuals here, but in the meantime, this is a good time to download the Atlanta News First app. As you can see from our website here, I'm taking you through, that is our top story right now. Any and all details that come through into our newsroom, you'll not only receive right here from where you're watching, but we'll also put that out there for you on the AtlantaNewsFirst.com website and in the Atlanta News First app. If we get a major updates, you'll get that directly to your phone through a push alert. All right, bear with me, folks. I am going to take this time now, step away for a moment, and get you a map pulled up so you can kind of see the surrounding area and what is transpiring. In the meantime, I do want to let those of you that are just joining us on our YouTube, I see a couple of you just hopped on. We do have a crew, an Atlanta News First reporter and photojournalist on the way to the scene. Hopefully we can get you a live update and a visual soon. In the meantime, I'm going to leave you with this view of our AtlantaNewsFirst.com website, and I'll be back here in the next minute with a map for you, and we can kind of talk a little bit about this area and what's transpiring minute by minute as we follow this very active scene. All right, back within the next 60 seconds. Like I said, we do have some viewer video that we received here at Atlanta News First. I want to show that to you. As you can see, this is kind of a visual just outside of this home. You could see some of the police activity in the area, and this is again in the area just outside of Griffin, Vineyard Road and Deason Street. This is from one of our Atlanta News First viewers. Thank you so much for sending this in. As you can see, phone video capturing law enforcement vehicles speeding through. We do have also this video I want to show you. As you can see, just a very active scene, and this is kind of showing you more of the residential area of Spalding County. This is Vineyard Road and Deason Street, where we just recently learned really moments ago into our newsroom that a deputy has been shot and a suspected gunman has barricaded themselves inside of one of the homes on this road that you're looking at. That is directly from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office, who also sent us this statement that I'm going to show you. This is from Major Dwayne Jones of the Spalding County Sheriff's Office saying, quote, "We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged, and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained, and we are dealing with the situation right now." So that is directly from the Sheriff's Office, basically giving us an update saying that this is very much an active and sensitive scene, that they are engaging with the suspected gunman, and to anyone that might be in the area, just want to avoid it as best as possible. Anytime something like this transpires, it's just best to give law enforcement the room that they need to safely secure the area and make sure nobody else gets hurt. I do think it's important to note here, as we're talking about this, that this is the 103rd shooting involving a law enforcement officer in Georgia for 2023. About 70 of those have been in the Metro Atlanta and surrounding community viewing area. For the people that watch Atlanta News First, that's the viewing area that you'll find us on. But yeah, 70 of the 103 reported in the viewing area, and 103 is the total for 2023. So you can see this is from Doug Cotton, sent in to us through Atlanta News First. If you have a video during breaking news events like this, really important to share that with us so we can kind of get everybody on the same page and offer some context into the situation. But as you can see, a really urgent police response, a sheriff's response. As I mentioned earlier, other law enforcement agencies are also assisting. We are working to piece together exactly which ones. We do have confirmation the Georgia State Patrol is assisting the Sheriff's Office right now with this scene. Again, the suspected gunman, we're told, has barricaded themselves inside of a home. Law enforcement responding to Deason Street and Vineyard Road. That's just outside of Griffin in Spalding County, and we have an Atlanta News First crew en route to get you the latest information and an on-the-ground look. But in the meantime, you're taking a look at a video that one of our viewers sent in, just showing you this residential area, this neighborhood in Spalding County, where right now it is the scene of a really dire situation involving a suspected gunman. We already have learned that a deputy has been shot. We are stationed right now outside of Grady Hospital right here. We don't know if that is where the deputy will be taken to for injuries. However, we are monitoring that closely just in case we do see the deputy and other members of Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We will bring that to you live, of course. In the meantime, we are right now monitoring the latest to come out of this very sensitive situation. And just to show you that statement again from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office saying, quote, "We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged, and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained, and we are dealing with this situation right now." So that is the update from Major Dwayne Jones of the Spalding County Sheriff's Office, taking you back out to some of that viewer video, just showing you law enforcement responding to the area. As you can see, really looks like a quiet neighborhood just that's outside of Griffin, not a major roadway, but right now the scene of a suspected shooter and where a deputy was recently injured. We're going to continue to monitor that. I'm going to check with my Atlanta News First team here just for a moment, just to see if we've gotten any new details. And in the meantime, I will let you view this video. Hey, back here at Atlanta News First Plus on the First Alert desk for you. I'm going to take you out to this map. I had some tech issues, so I wasn't able to show you this earlier, but I wanted to just show you this area that we're talking about. Again, we do have an Atlanta News First reporter on the way to this scene that will get you that live visual as soon as we get there. In the meantime, I do just want to take you through this map right here. It's a simple Google map, nothing fancy, but this is Vineyard Road and Deason Street, and you can see right here pretty quiet neighborhood, similar to what you just saw from that viewer video that was sent in, but this was the scene where a deputy was shot, we're told, by the sheriff's office, and now a suspected gunman has barricaded themselves inside. And just a little lower, I'm going to bring this up, you can see some of the businesses and even a church nearby, not too close, but a couple of churches just up the road. But for the most part, this is just a quiet residential area, Vineyard Road and Deason Street, just outside of Griffin in Spalding County. And you can see this is more of where the congested area is, and it's just outside of that, down this residential road. And then further up, you have a couple of churches, Dollar General, things like that. So, good thing is there's no immediate businesses in the area, or it's not a really a packed area where we believe the scene is currently taking place, but you are talking about houses and other residents that probably see this large police activity or sheriff's activity, law enforcement, and understandably have worries. So we do want to keep them informed and let you all know that we did receive a statement from the sheriff's office that basically said that they are handling the situation and that they are engaging with the suspected gunman. And the situation, the important part of this is that they said that the gunman is contained. That is directly from the sheriff's office. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that person has been brought into custody. I think what they're saying is that they have him in their sights, and that for those that are living in this area, you just want to remain indoors. You don't want to come out and get close to law enforcement presence, because they're focused right now on containing what they've described to us as a suspected gunman. So we're going to continue to follow this. Again, our Atlanta News First team en route to this location. This is, again, just off of Vineyard Road and Deason Street, and we are learning new details into our newsroom minute by minute. I do have some new pictures. I'm going to try to pull those up for you, but again, viewer video, viewer pictures, if you are someone who lives in this area, help us a lot, help us get information out to you. If you don't live in this area, please don't feel like you have to go down there. We want you to avoid it as best as possible. Let law enforcement do their job right now. Just reading some new information that's coming into our newsroom. Again, right now we're just working to learn what exactly prompted this shooting situation to take place, and just more details about who this possible gunman is, and the deputy that was shot, the condition that the deputy is in, and hopefully just hearing that that deputy is going to be okay. We are also monitoring right now Grady Hospital. I did have a visual just a moment ago, but Grady Hospital here, we're monitoring that. We don't know whether the deputy is going to be taken there. All that we know is that we are just watching closely and working to get you details, talking to the law enforcement personnel that have responded to this. Spalding County Sheriff's Office on scene, as well as Georgia State Patrol, we've been told, is assisting the Sheriff's Office at this time. So we're going to continue to follow that. Taking you back out here to that viewer video I was showing you earlier. As I lift this statement here, you can see this residential area and just police vehicle, law enforcement vehicles. This is the sheriff's office, not police, just making their way down the street. Again, this quiet residential area, not too congested or dense with population, but definitely some houses and some residents in this area that we just ask, if you are someone who lives along Vineyard Road and Decent Street, just remain indoors until we can get you some more confirmation about the situation, letting law enforcement just do their job right now in containing what is a very active and sensitive scene. For those of you just joining us here at the First Alert Desk, I just want to recap everything that we have learned since we've joined you here on Atlanta News First Plus. Really developing scene that we're getting new information minute by minute into the newsroom. A Spalding County deputy has been shot, and the suspected gunman has barricaded themselves inside of a home. That is according to the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We have reached out just to look, hopefully get some information on the condition of this deputy and what exactly led up to that shooting, and more information about the suspected gunman, of course. What we do have from the Sheriff's Office is this statement I'm going to play for you. Just recently that we've gotten this. Sorry, I'm trying to pull that up here. There we go. So you can see from Major Dwayne Jones of the Spalding County Sheriff's Office saying, quote, "We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained and we are dealing with this situation right now." That is directly from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. So the latest information directly from officials right there for you. Now, current details are very limited. We'd like to jump on here and just to get you information, and then at the same time checking for new details that come into our newsroom. Our Atlanta News First team is on the way to this scene in Spalding County, just outside of Griffin. If you're familiar with Decent Street and Vineyard Road, that's what I have right there on the map. So you can see some of that on the top area, a satellite picture. The bottom is more just to show you this is not a very congested area, but it is a residential space, and so we just are urging, if you have a friend, loved one, or you are a resident of this area, you just want to stay indoors, let law enforcement do their job at this time. Now, Georgia State Patrol is assisting the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We're also working to learn whether there are other law enforcement agencies that are assisting at this time. We do know that those two are on scene right now. Again, we are going to continue to follow this until we learn that this situation has resolved. We will stay right here with you on Atlanta News First Plus. I did just, there we go, lose my map for a moment, but it's back. In the meantime, while we wait to hear from our Atlanta News First team that is going to be on the ground here shortly, I do just want to take you through some other top stories that we received into our newsroom. This one out in Fairburn, following a house fire that could have had deadly consequences. Luckily, a family did manage to escape this area, and it's all thanks to the heroic actions of an 11-year-old girl that the family did make it out. Our Rebecca Schramm has the report.
From the attic, and it sounded like popcorn popping.
That's when 11-year-old Autumn Hampton woke up her mom.
We saw the attic that was on fire.
They both went into action, rounding up Autumn's brothers and the family's dogs.
I went to the basement to go wake up my brothers and tell them there's a fire.
And this says a lot about her.
Fairburn Fire Chief Cornelius Robinson tells me Autumn's sense of smell and her overall awareness likely saved her family.
If it hadn't been for her, we probably would have faced a possible fatality, which happens all over the nation when you have families in the home during the time of a fire. But it's just a blessing what she's done to notify her mom.
Autumn's mom, Jocelyn, didn't want to appear on camera, but she wanted me to know how proud she is of her daughter.
Had she not said, Mommy, did you hear that and smell that? I wouldn't have opened the door and got everybody out the house.
Probably only like little casualty is that my brother had owned fish and now they're all probably gone. But everyone got out safely and stuff.
Yeah, just wanted to get you out to one of the other stories that we brought to you here earlier. Important reminder for those of you as we are in our winter months, just be cognizant of any space heaters or just candles that you leave out. Not saying that that was the cause of this fire, but it is important that with cold weather that we're watching how we're using heat and just make sure you're protecting your home as best as possible. All right, I want to get you back out to this breaking news story that we are following. We're going to stay on it, get you the latest updates. Right now, a lot of people are just asking on YouTube, some of you, the condition of the deputy. That is something that we are working to learn. We are right now monitoring whether he will be taken, the deputy, we don't know whether it's a man or a woman. The deputy will be taken to Grady. We are staged outside of the hospital, but we haven't received confirmation if that's where the deputy will end up going for treatment. We do know that a deputy has been shot, and right now the focus for the officers still on scene is that barricaded gunman, suspected barricaded gunman, I should clarify, inside a home off of Deason Street and Vineyard Road. That's just outside of Griffin in Spalding County. Now, a lot of details are very limited. I do see Caroline on YouTube saying they have him inside of a house and they are using, okay. Caroline, thank you so much. So Caroline, just giving a comment for us on YouTube saying that law enforcement has the suspected gunman inside of a house, trying to tear the backside of the house. We're working to confirm that, Caroline. I'll try to get you some more information on the ongoing efforts right now underway, but we haven't received any official word that there's been any development. We have been told by the sheriff's office that the suspected gunman has been contained inside the home and that they're working the scene. Again, a very urgent and sensitive situation, especially when you're talking about a deputy that's been shot. Now, normally with these situations, when you have a shooting that's involving an officer, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation is called to the scene. We haven't received confirmation of whether GBI is there. We do know that Georgia State Patrol is on scene assisting the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We do also know that this marks the 103rd shooting involving law enforcement here in Georgia. And just to give you some context, 70 of those have been within the Atlanta News First viewing area. So that's Metro Atlanta and surrounding communities, Spalding County being one of them. So not great news. We're talking about a Friday. A lot of people are in holiday mode and kind of spending time with friends, family, loved ones, and a happy occasion as walking into a new year, especially for our law enforcement officers out there. They always expect that a situation like this might happen, but you know, every time that it does send a shockwave through the law enforcement community and through residents in Spalding County, through all of us in our hearts who do wish them safety every day that they work to protect our communities. So I have the map up right here for you. Just as we're waiting to hear from our Atlanta News First crew that is en route to the scene, we do know that they are expected to be there likely within the next half hour, and so as soon as they do, you'll have an on-the-ground visual of what is happening. In the meantime, we are monitoring, talking to these officials that are responding, talking to Georgia State Patrol and the Spalding County Sheriff's Office on what the situation is at this very moment, and any updates for those residents that are probably looking outside of their windows right now and wondering what is going on. We do know that a suspected gunman is currently barricaded themselves inside of a home, and I know for those of you that have stayed here with me on Atlanta News First Plus on this stream, you've seen this a couple times, but I just think it's very important to show you this statement directly from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office. This is the latest statement that we have from them. We are expecting hopefully to get some sort of updates as we move along with this, but the Spalding County Sheriff's Office saying that quote, "We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged, and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained, and we are dealing with this situation right now." So that is the latest update for you there. I do want to play again this viewer video that we got from Doug on Facebook. Thank you so much for sending this in. Just showing you some of the law enforcement vehicles that were zooming through this area, responding to the scene. As you can imagine, when a deputy is shot, it is really all hands on deck, and the situation just becomes that much more serious. We do know that this marks the 103rd shooting involving law enforcement in Georgia for 2023. Again, 70 of those close to the metro Atlanta area. But this one coming at Friday, the last work week of the old year, 2023. Heading into a long weekend for most of you and for the family of this Spalding County deputy. It has become quite the gruesome day. Again, we don't know the condition right now of that deputy. We do know that they have been shot. We are monitoring outside of Grady Hospital. We don't know whether the deputy is going to be taken there, but we're monitoring just in case that is where the Spalding County Sheriff's Office team arrives with that injured deputy. Again, we're taking a look at a viewer video that we've gotten, just showing you that area. Law enforcement making their way down. And right now they are outside of a home on Vineyard Road and Decent Street. This is just outside of the Griffin area in Spalding County. All right, just again, stepping away just for a moment so that I can get you guys any updates that we get into our newsroom. I'm going to bring this up a little so you can see it. You're taking a look right now at the public safety and crime section of our website, where you could see the Spalding County story that we are putting out for you. This is also available in the Atlanta News First mobile app. If you do have that, it is a great resource so that you can stay updated. If you're not ever able to watch this stream continuously, you can get a push alert notification sent directly to your phone on any major updates. That includes that whether we learn the condition of that deputy, and the ongoing situation with the suspected gunman. But just taking you through this article here, as you can see, all of the information that I've relayed to you. This is an ongoing situation on Deason Street and Vineyard Road in Spalding County. For context, that is just outside of the Griffin area. Now, the Spalding County Sheriff's Office has said that they are currently handling a suspected gunman that barricaded themselves inside of a home. We do also know that a deputy has been shot. The order of events and what led up to that shooting remain unclear at this time. We do know from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office that shots were exchanged between law enforcement and that suspected gunman. And now we are in a situation where that alleged gunman has barricaded themselves. Georgia State Patrol is responding as well. They are assisting. We do not have clarification at this time of whether Georgia Bureau of Investigation is on scene. Now, typically when you do get a shooting involving police or a law enforcement member, you do have Georgia Bureau of Investigation called to the scene just to lead that investigation. We haven't been told at this time whether that they are on scene or whether they're headed to the scene. We don't know the status of whether GBI will be involved at this point in time. We do know that once GBI, or if GBI does respond to this, that this would become the 104th shooting involving a law enforcement officer in Georgia. Again, 70 of those coming from the Metro Atlanta and surrounding community Atlanta News First viewing area. Now, I do see some of your comments on YouTube as you all are watching. I am reading along and following what you're saying. Caroline recently said that they have him, the suspected gunman, I assume you're referring to, inside of the house, and they're using a lav to tear the backside of the house off. Now, that is directly from one of our YouTube live viewers, Caroline. We are working to confirm what the status is of what law enforcement is doing at this time to really approach that suspected gunman. All we know right now is that the gunman has barricaded themselves in a home, and that is directly from the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office saying that they have personnel also on the way there, telling us that they are containing the situation. Now, we do have another person on our YouTube live saying that Clayton County Sheriff's Office is one of the agencies. We are working to confirm all of the agencies that are responding. We know that more personnel were called. We just don't know the exact personnel at this time, working to get that officially confirmed from law enforcement. We do know that Georgia State Patrol is responding, and that understandably the Spalding County Sheriff's Office continues to respond. Caroline also saying, yes, they had about 100 different vehicles coming down the highway. Caroline, if you are a resident of this area, really appreciate your comments. Again, if you have any questions, if you have your own comments and thoughts on this, really anytime we hear of a law enforcement member being injured in the line of duty, it's a hard day on the community, a hard day on their law enforcement family. Caroline also saying, okay, that they're clearing the front porch off now. Again, no official confirmation from officials on what the exact specific status is of how they are handling this barricaded gunman situation. What we do know is that they have called more personnel and that shots had been exchanged. At some point, a deputy was shot. We're working to learn the condition of that deputy, and most important, from the sheriff's office saying that he is contained, referring to that suspected gunman. So taking you back out here to our map. There we go. Just to show you that this is a residential area, really just outside of Griffin. So you can see if you go further down, there's Griffin for you, and then a little further up, you have Vineyard Road and Deason Street. Not too heavily populated. However, this is a residential space. So for all of those of you out there that live in that community or have a loved one in that community, we are going to stay here and keep you updated on the latest to come out of that. And then here you have viewer video, much like what Caroline on our YouTube Live was saying, of just law enforcement racing down this street, understandably responding to a very active situation in this area. All right, for those of you that are still with us, I appreciate you and your patience as I step away. Again, every time I'm stepping away, I'm just checking for any new details, monitoring social media for any viewer comment, reaction that you guys might have talking to officials. Our Atlanta News First team right now, all hands on deck on this ongoing standoff, really, is what it's becoming, with a law enforcement and a suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of a home. Now, I do see some of your comments on YouTube Live. Mike saying, I'm 2 miles to the north. The helicopters left the scene. We did try to get you a aerial shot here from above. Unfortunately, technologically, we were not able to get that to you. Now, we have learned, just so you can get confirmed information, because I think there's a couple back and forth in the YouTube section. We are also monitoring police scanners and talking to officials. However, we want to relay to you the definitive, confirmed information that we get into our newsroom so you know exactly the state of where things are at right now. We do know that a deputy has been shot. Again, we are following to see what the condition of that deputy is. Hopefully that they are going to be okay. That Spalding County deputy has been transported for their injuries. However, we don't know where exactly or which hospital that they are taking the deputy to. We are right now outside of Grady Hospital just to see whether that may be where they end up. However, no official confirmation right now. The Spalding County Sheriff's Office, along with Georgia State Patrol, is on scene. We do know that other personnel has been called to assist, understandably, when you have a law enforcement officer that has been shot. We're also trying to learn if the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been called. Typically with a shooting involving a member of law enforcement, you do see that Georgia Bureau of Investigation ends up taking over or leading or assisting that case in some way. We haven't confirmed at this time whether GBI is on the scene or headed to the scene. However, if they are, that will make this the 104th shooting involving a law enforcement officer in Georgia in 2023. So far, there have been 103, 70 of which have been in the Metro Atlanta viewing area for Atlanta News First, surrounding communities in the Metro Atlanta area. Just to show you a little bit of this map here, I'm going to take it full screen just for a moment. You can see this is a simple Google map, nothing fancy, but this is the area of Vineyard Road and Deason Street, where you can see it's not too congested of an area. Just further down is where Griffin is, so this is a residential area, not too heavily populated, but still some homes and residents in the surrounding area. So good time to tell you about our new feature. It's called Haymarket. It's a fantastic way for you to send in your questions, your photos, your thoughts even. We want to hear all of those. Haymarket is the what we use to generate your photos, your videos, to connect with you. It's basically a way to text us. So you can text us at 470-777-9263. Again, that is 470-777-9263. If you text that number, text us about your questions regarding the situation, about your comments, photos, videos, tips. Especially tips are incredibly useful if you are living in this area. That is going to be the number that you want to send to us, and our digital team right here, standing right next to me behind this camera, they will receive that right away, and you can communicate with us here in the newsroom pretty easily. Again, a wonderful tool for tips, for videos, for questions. We can connect with you pretty quickly. You can also reach us on social media at Atlanta News First, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can find us. So again, 470-777-9263 is where you're going to want to reach us. Again, we are monitoring the situation here, taking you back out to this viewer video that we received, just showing law enforcement zooming down this street as more personnel are called to assist what is an ongoing barricaded standoff, really, with a suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of a home in Spalding County. All right, just resetting here with you folks. Took a bit of a pause there just to get you some more information here. Again, the situation's still very much ongoing. Law enforcement right now, Spalding County Sheriff's Office and Georgia State Patrol, as I'm sure other units are assisting right now, in what appears to be a suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of a home. To my right here, as you can see, is the street area. I'm going to pull this down a little bit just so you can see more of the street view. This is Vineyard Road and Decent Street. Again, not too populated of an area, but you can see some homes right about here. So some residents that we want to urge to just stay indoors, let law enforcement do their jobs right now as we continue to follow arguably a standoff situation between law enforcement and a suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of a home. Now, we were told that a deputy has been injured when law enforcement was responding to this area. This is just outside of Griffin again. Decent Street and Vineyard Road. We do know that that deputy was transported. We do not have official confirmation on which hospital they were taken to, and we are closely monitoring to hopefully learn the condition of that deputy. But hopefully the good news is that they're going to be okay. We don't know right now whether that's the case or what their condition is. We do know that that deputy was shot in what was an exchange of gunfire. That suspected gunman currently barricaded themselves inside of a home, according to the sheriff's office. Now, Atlanta News First, our hardworking reporter, photojournalist, are on the way to the scene. I believe they are close here. They left about an hour ago, so they should be approaching here momentarily, getting you that live picture. That is what is going to make my map disappear, and you'll finally be able to see kind of what the ongoing situation is on the ground. I'm just looking up to see. Okay, they are still on the way to the scene at this time, but as soon as they do arrive, you'll see that live picture pop up, and we'll hopefully talk to our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, to get you some updates on what law enforcement are saying and what we're seeing from the ground. I do see some of your YouTube comments here. Just a couple questions asking on, who exactly is responding. I know someone said that they saw Clayton County Sheriff's Office. We do have confirmed right now Georgia State Patrol is responding, as well as Spalding County Sheriff's Office is responding, and that more personnel have been called. This quote directly from the Spalding County Sheriff's Office for you, just to show you that for a minute. This is from Major Dwayne Jones with Spalding County. We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged, and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained, and we are dealing with this situation right now. And I believe they are referring to the suspected gunman in this situation. Again, our Atlanta News First crew on the way to this scene. We'll get you that live picture as soon as we can. In the meantime, showing you this viewer video that was kindly sent in by Doug Cotton via Facebook. Doug, thank you so much for this video, just showing law enforcement zooming down this street. And again, I just got an update actually from our Brittany Ford, currently on the ground right now. She's saying that law enforcement having them keep a safe distance, but we're going to work to connect with her here so we can get some sort of update for you. In the meantime, I'm going to step away just to see if we can get her on the line. We'll be back here within the next couple minutes. If y'all can hang tight, I'm going to leave you here with this map just so you can see the Vineyard and Decent Street area. And again, if you want to be notified via our Atlanta News First mobile app, you can do that, download it, and we'll send you any and all updates, major developments on this story. You can also text us at 470-777-9263. I'm monitoring all of your comments here on our YouTube Live if you wanted to join the conversation there. But 470-777-9263 is a great tool if you want to send us tips, comments, thoughts, pictures, videos. We'll have our Atlanta News First digital team respond right back to you, so it's a pretty quick way to reach us. You can also hop on YouTube with us, and I'll see your comment pretty much right away. All right, I'm going to step away here, folks, leaving you with this map, this street view, I should say. see if we can get our reporter on the line with us and get you some updates from the ground. All right, folks, as I mentioned, we got you a visual now. I just had to step away for a moment. I do appreciate all of your patience. For those of you that are following along here with us, we can now show you here from the ground. Our Atlanta News First crew has arrived to the scene. I want to note, like I mentioned just before I hopped on here briefly, we are being asked to keep quite the distance from this area. I'm going to make it full screen so you can see it better. But quite a number of law enforcement you can see just parked and more vehicles closer to that home. We do know that Spalding County Sheriff's Office is responding, of course. One of their deputies has been shot in this situation, and that Georgia State Patrol is assisting. We do also know that other personnel have been called to the scene. I do believe that is a Griffin police vehicle I'm looking at. And then just panned away, now you can see another Spalding County Sheriff's Office vehicle parked along the sides. Again, they are not letting us get any closer than this. I am working to connect with our reporter, Brittany Ford, see if she's learned anything new here. But right now, you can see there's a live picture for you. Hopefully they'll zoom out here momentarily. There we go. As you can see, just a line of vehicles, law enforcement vehicles, parked along this road leading up to that home that unfortunately we can't get you much closer to, but you can see a law enforcement just off camera are Brittany Ford speaking to law enforcement. So hopefully we can get you some updates on what that conversation entailed and really anything that she's learned. Again, the Spalding County Sheriff's Office telling us that they are containing this suspected gunman to the home, that they are just monitoring the situation. Is very sensitive and very urgent, of course, when you're talking about a possibly armed individual and a deputy that has been shot. Again, still working to learn the condition of that deputy. This is along Deason Street and Vineyard Road outside of Griffin in Spalding County. And you're just taking a live look. Our camera's just zooming in and out, trying to get different coverage shots, but hopefully we can get you a wide view here shortly. I'm going to check in with the team so you can kind of see up as close as we can get you to the situation and what's transpiring. All right, and just to give you all an update, I do believe that we are here momentarily going to get our reporter, Brittany Ford, here on with us just to give us a brief update on what the situation is. Again, with these types of things, typically the situation is very sensitive, and law enforcement likes to keep the details to a minimum just because you have a suspect involved that might be receiving this information as well, but also balancing that with protecting the community surrounding residents and keeping everyone informed overall. So we do know from law enforcement, from Spalding County Sheriff's Office, that they have told us that they are they have the suspected gunman contained in the area in that home. However, we do not have any updates on whether that person's been brought into custody, but we know this is an active and ongoing scene and that there is a suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of this home along Vineyard Road and Decent Street. Again, just outside of Griffin, if you're unfamiliar with that area in Spalding County, but details are understandably going to remain very limited. We are still working to find out the condition of that deputy and any other details that we can get about that law enforcement member that's been shot. I know that has really left a lot of feelings with community members, with understandably Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We're keeping in our thoughts right now as one of their deputies has been shot. We are also working to learn which hospital, medical emergency facility that they may have been taken to. So we're working on getting a couple questions answered there. Most important for those residents in this community area, getting you information on your safety. Right now, we do know from law enforcement that this has been an ongoing situation. I'm going to just pan off of this camera here as our Atlanta News First team just gets our camera situated, showing you again a map of Vineyard Road and Decent Street. And I do believe we have our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, here joining us momentarily. We're going to get her on the line here just to give you a brief update. The main thing for you to know, we are now on the scene working to get you a report that you'll be able to follow on Atlanta News First on our newscast and get you the latest details on that. So, all right, give me just 1 second, folks. I'm just checking in with our team, see if we can get you some sort of update.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
All right, and you can see a live picture right now from our Atlanta News First team on the ground. This is as close as we could get you, really, to this now standoff here. Give me just one moment as I connect with our team, hopefully get you our reporter on the ground, some new details for you here as they're coming in. All right, working to connect y'all with our reporter on the ground, Brittany. You just saw her just a brief moment ago. Brittany, I do know that the situation there very sensitive, but what can you tell us? You all just arrived to the scene recently.
Well, yeah, that's been a really fluid situation here over the last couple of hours. There's been an influx of law enforcement presence. We do know right now there is one Spalding County Sheriff's deputy that has been shot. We don't know what his condition is right now, but we do know what's happening right behind me is that alleged gunman is now barricaded inside one of those homes here in Spalding County. Again, just getting on scene here, we've just seen multiple officers from multiple agencies coming in and out of the area. Again, a lot of concerned residents coming out. But as of right now, the Spalding County Sheriff's Office says that they are dealing with a barricaded subject in one of those homes, an alleged gunman involved in a potential officer-involved shooting that happened and unfolded hours ago. But again, we just got here. We're looking to get some more information, and we'll bring you the latest on air and online at AtlantaNewsFirst.com.
All right, Brittany, thank you. I appreciate your time, and we'll be continuing to follow along and wait for that report from you on our air. All right, taking you back out to this map here, folks, just so you can see exactly where this is taking place. This is along Vineyard Road and Deason Street in Spalding County, specifically outside of the Griffin area. You just heard from our Brittany Ford, who is on the ground right now talking to law enforcement officials, trying to get the latest information for you. And like I mentioned, this is really a residential area, not too badly congested. However, there are still people living in this area, residents nearby that we have relayed. You just want to stay indoors if you are someone who lives in this area. Let law enforcement do their job. As you can see, even from our own camera, that law enforcement has set up quite the perimeter, keeping people at a good distance from this home, and understandably so. You're talking about an area with a possibly armed individual, a suspected gunman. So you can see just police vehicles, sheriff's office vehicles, Georgia State Patrol vehicles, as I'm sure other agencies, lined down the street. And just outside of our view is where that home is, where what I imagine is a more dire situation and an urgent scene, of course. And I believe we just lost our shot here, but let me work on getting you that back. In the meantime, leaving you here with a picture of our website, AtlantaNewsFirst.com, where you can follow along every detail that comes into our newsroom from the ground, from talking with officials. You'll find that in our Atlanta News First app. All right, and I do actually have some new details for you, some major details that we've been waiting to relate to you. Got confirmation on just into the condition of that Spalding County deputy that was shot, and some details into how this situation exactly started off. So just to take you back to through all of the information that we do have, we have learned here that a Spalding County deputy who was responding to a domestic call at an address, that address being in the area of Vineyard Road and Deason Street, just outside of Griffin. There's that map again that I am sure some of you are tired of seeing if you've been with us here since we started streaming, but this just gives you a good visual of this area and kind of the surrounding businesses, surrounding residencies. This is mostly a residential area, but as you can see further up, you got a couple churches, a couple businesses, and then further down is actually Griffin, in a more populated area. So this right there where my pin is about where law enforcement responded to. Now that deputy was called for a domestic situation and suffered a critical injury that was shot and is now, we're learning, critically injured. That deputy has been taken to an Atlanta area hospital. We are working to confirm which hospital that is. However, we also have learned that the suspect right now, the suspected gunman that has barricaded themselves inside of a home, that situation remains the same. That suspect currently still inside the home, and a multi-agency response now involved. You're talking about Griffin Police. We saw a Griffin Police vehicle. Spalding County, of course, the Sheriff's Office, originally on scene, still on scene, and Georgia State Patrol, as well as other agencies. The deputy's condition, the latest of what we know is they are critically injured, which is quite serious. So we do ask right now, if you are watching this, just keep Spalding County Sheriff's Office in your thoughts, and that deputy, of course, talking about a last Friday of 2023, and this possibly marking, we'll get you confirmation from the GBI once we learn more, but 103 shootings so far in Georgia involving law enforcement in 2023. This would make 104. And sharing once again some of that viewer video that we received from Doug Cotton via Facebook. Thank you so much for sending this in. Just showing you some of that initial response as law enforcement agencies zoomed down this residential road towards that house. We did earlier have a visual for you from our Atlanta News First team on the ground. Currently do not have that visual. However, you could see from as close as we were able to get to that home, just a line of law enforcement vehicles parked up the road, and just beyond our camera's view was that home that law enforcement has, Spalding County Sheriff's Office specifically, has told us a suspected gunman is barricaded in the side. So, again, taking you through this visual right here of what appears to be one of the residents of this area, or someone who was in this area at this time, sending us a video of just law enforcement making their way towards the scene after one of their deputies was shot. That deputy, we have been told, suffered a critical injury and has been taken to an Atlanta area hospital. this taking place initially was a domestic call that deputies were responding to, that since escalated clearly, with the deputy being shot and now a suspected gunman barricaded inside of a home. I want to show you once again this statement that we got from Spalding County. During the initial moments of our stream, we did manage to get you a statement, just to direct communication from the sheriff's office saying, quote, "We are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained and we are dealing with the situation right now." So that update from Spalding County Sheriff's Office. And typically when you have situations like these, they like to exercise caution, not relaying too many specific details on tactics they're using or how they're communicating with the gunmen, just for safety reasons, and so to keep the gunman from receiving that information, but also balancing that with giving the community some sort of update so that they know the situation for themselves, especially you're talking about residents in this area. Residents who are probably looking outside of their window or hearing these sirens and having a lot of questions and a lot of concerns, understandably. So that is what we are here for here at Atlanta News First, is getting you that information and keeping you updated. And by the way, as you saw this viewer video that we received into our newsroom, good reminder that you can reach us very easily, whether it be here on our Atlanta News First YouTube Live or whether it is through our other social media channels, but also you can text us. And I'm going to pull up that number here. We have this feature that you can text tips to. You can ask questions, give us your thoughts and concerns, especially if you have a loved one or a resident in this area. If you have photos or videos you want to send to us for stories like these, you can text 470-777-9263, 470-777-9263, and our digital team will receive that right away. We will see those, and we have a pretty easy way then to communicate back with you. So we're very accessible, and we do want to hear from you. So please do send us those tips. Do send us your thoughts and questions. And if you're on our Atlanta News First YouTube page right now, watching this live, subscribe, hit the push notification bell so that whenever we do get breaking news like this, that you can receive that alert on your phone and you can join the conversation here on ANF Plus. All right, joining you back here again. Every moment that I step away, I'm just checking in for any new information that we can get relayed to you. For those of you that are just joining us, I do see your comments if you're with us on YouTube Live. Just to give you an update on the deputy, because a couple of you were asking about that. We do know that the deputy did sustain critical injuries, so a critical condition from the shooting that took place. We do know from Spalding County Sheriff's Office that there was an exchange of gunfire. And at some point, a deputy was shot. Again, this all developing from what we've been told was a domestic call to the address. This residential space that is just outside of Griffin, couple of homes in the area, really a quiet neighborhood, but right now, a really urgent situation transpiring there along Vineyard Road, and we are again closely monitoring all of this. The latest to come out of this is that the suspect is still barricaded inside of the home. There is a multi-agency response that remains ongoing. Just looking down on all of the channels that we have open as we're monitoring for confirmation and any updates from all of the law enforcement agencies that have responded to this. We know Griffin Police is on scene. We do know that Clayton County possibly responding. We do also know that the Georgia State Patrol has been called to assist as well. Now, typically with shootings that do involve law enforcement members, we do also see the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. However, we have not received confirmation of whether they have responded or are en route at this time. This would make... Once Georgia Bureau of Investigation does arrive, this would be the 104th shooting involving an officer for Georgia for 2023, and really just sad to report that that is taking place days away from the new year, from a weekend that is usually filled with celebration and love and excitement for the future. Now for this Spalding County Sheriff's Deputy's family, quite a tragic day as they are closely monitoring, I'm sure, along with all the rest of us, the condition of the deputy, and just keeping them in our thoughts at this time. Again, our thoughts also with the Spalding County Sheriff's Office and the injured deputy. Taking you back out here to that viewer video. If you were with us earlier, you saw that we were able to get you on the ground shot. Our Atlanta News First team still on the ground, talking to law enforcement agencies, just trying to get new details and information. But right now, this is a viewer video that we received into our newsroom, just showing you some of those vehicles zooming by, again, taking us to now catching up to the timeline. Now we see multi-agency response and just numerous vehicles that are parked alongside the streets. I'm sure more law enforcement that is actively engaged with this home. All right, and taking you back out now to that viewer video here that we've been showing you from Doug Cotton from Facebook. Thank you so much for sending that our way. Just showing some of this law enforcement presence and those vehicles moving it down to what is now a standoff in Spalding County, just outside of Griffin, really a residential area. Deason Street and Vineyard Road is where this is taking place. We first jumped on here with you at 1 o'clock. It's currently 2:34, and just some new developments into our newsroom here. We have since learned that the Spalding County deputy that was shot is critically injured and was taken to an area hospital, a nearby hospital. We are working to confirm specifically where that is and just staying updated on who the deputy is and just if there's any developments and hopefully good news for their condition to improve right now. This reality is that they are critically injured and in the hospital. The suspect, in the meantime, we are told is currently barricaded inside of the home, and there is a multi-agency response that is involved with this. So you were talking about Griffin Police that is on scene. You were talking about the Georgia State Patrol that's been called to assist. And typically with shootings involving law enforcement members, we do also see the GBI. However, we have not been able to confirm right now, no word from GBI on whether they have been called or are already on scene. It's very likely that while this remains an active investigation that we don't see GBI. They typically do come during the investigative period and not the active response period. However, we also see GBI sometimes assisting when the situation is dire. So again, remaining in the era of GBI's involvement, but it is routine for them to usually respond when there is an officer involved shooting or a shooting involving an officer. Again, that deputy currently in the hospital with critical injuries. We do know that the deputy was shot and the suspected gunman is barricaded inside of the home. That is directly from Spalding County Sheriff's Office. We are also working to learn more about who this suspect is and really what transpired from this. We do know that it started as a domestic call and that escalated, of course, when the deputy was shot, we're told, and then that barricaded situation took place. So we are monitoring closely, taking you back out here to this map, kind of a half street view and a half map, just so you can see that this is this residential space and the surrounding businesses that are in the area. I do see some of your comments, by the way, on our YouTube Live. A couple of you asking if that suspect is in custody right now. No update from law enforcement. We do have a reporter on the ground that would be able to verify that information rather quickly for you. The current status from law enforcement is that it is an ongoing situation, that suspect is still barricaded inside of the home. And of course, they are approaching it with a lot of delicacy when you're talking about an armed person and a surrounding neighborhood, community, residential space. So we do know from law enforcement, they've told us, the Spalding County Sheriff's Office has told us that the suspect is contained within the home and that they are addressing the situation. And just to pull up that direct quote for you, and again, I just wanted to address some of those questions. Sean Jardin's asking what is 1095. Typically, that is police code for when someone has been taken into custody. Just want to clarify that it does not appear to be the case at this time. The confirmed information from Spalding County Sheriff's Office and from the multi-agencies that are responding and we're checking in with is that the standoff is still underway and that that barricaded suspected gunman is still inside of the home, and law enforcement are approaching the situation. All right. Taking you out to this statement saying, quote, we are in a barricaded situation with the gunman. Shots have been exchanged and we have more personnel on the way up there. He is contained and we are dealing with the situation right now. That came into our newsroom about an hour ago, so I do just want to note the time on that. We have since had our Atlanta News First crew make it to the ground and talk to some of the agencies that are also assisting some of those police vehicles that were parked along the street. Also patrolling the area, just making sure that they are keeping civilians at a distance. And we have then been told that right now the situation remains that they are setting up they're holding their perimeter, I should say, keeping people away and addressing the situation at hand, which is a suspected gunman barricaded inside of one of these homes outside of Griffin. All right, just want to be realistic with you about where we are in this current situation. Again, we do know that the deputy is critically injured, was taken to an area hospital. We are working right now to learn which hospital that is and more details about the condition of that deputy. I mean, this really is a tragic time anytime we hear that a member of law enforcement, someone sworn to protect our local community, is injured, and this would mark the 104th shooting involving a member of law enforcement in Georgia for 2023. So really tragic to report that when we're talking about the final days of the year and walking into what for many is a fresh start, a hopeful future, and a celebratory time for their friends and loved ones. So for the family members of this deputy, for the law enforcement community, and for the Spalding County community in general, just know that our thoughts right here at Atlanta News First are with you, as I'm sure many of the community members that are watching this. All right, I want to see more of your comments here on YouTube. By the way, if you're watching this, we're in a couple different places right now. You can watch us on your TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Just search Atlanta News First. We'll pop right up, and the first thing that you click on will be this stream. But if you are trying to interact with us, YouTube Live is a good place to do that. Push that subscribe button and the push alert notification bell, that will be a good way for you to be alerted whenever we have breaking news moments like these, as well as other moments to connect with the rest of our Atlanta News First team. I'm also looking down here because I'm pulling up our text app. So you can text us at 470-777-9263. That will go directly to our team here at Atlanta News First. We'll be able to message you right back. That's a good place for tips, for video, photos that you want to send us, and generally to ask questions and get a real person to give you some updates on any stories that we're following. Maybe share your thoughts with us. We want to hear from you guys. This is why we do this, is to relay information and connect with you all. So do text that number if you want more information about this, and we'll connect with you there. All right, I'm seeing some more comments here. All right, so a couple of you just asking for the status on the suspect. Again, relaying confirmed information from officials. We do just want to make sure that we give you the factual information at hand. Our Atlanta News First team on the ground working to confirm any and all updates that do come in. Our Atlanta News First assignment desk here, as I'm looking through the corner of my eye, closely monitoring police scanners, talking to officials from all of the agencies that are involved, and the current and recent information that we are able to report to you with confirmation is that the standoff is still ongoing. The suspected gunman still believed to be barricaded inside of the home. So that perimeter is still up. No updates as of yet. I'm going to step away here just for a moment, leaving you here with our Atlanta News First .com website, also available on our app. As you can see, our top story that we're following right now, all hands on deck, is this Spalding County deputy condition, as well as the ongoing standoff with what police Spalding County Sheriff's Office have described as a suspected gunman barricaded inside of a home. All right, stepped away, checked some information, checking back here with you all. Just want to let you know we are going to get another report from our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, who is on the ground right now outside of this home that has been really the scene of a standoff for over 2 hours now. We do know from talking to Brittany previously that multiple law enforcement agencies are responding. Griffin Police is responding. Spalding County Sheriff's Office, of course, was initially on scene, remains on scene with more personnel from the Sheriff's Office. The Georgia State Patrol has responded, and we do know that other agencies are involved. Typically with a shooting involving a member of law enforcement, we do also see the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. However, we have not received confirmation or any update from the GBI at this time as to the status of their involvement. So that is something that we're going to work to get you an answer on. Two big things that you all have been asking about since we started this stream. The condition of the deputy. The deputy does remain critically injured right now, unfortunately, after being shot while responding to a domestic call. That is the official narrative that we received from the sheriff's office that is involved. That deputy has been taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. Our thoughts again remaining with the family, with the sheriff's office at this time, and sending just good thoughts and good energy to that deputy as they have really endured quite the unimaginable with members of law enforcement. They know that this is a reality with the job, but I think they try to do their best to protect the community and still come home to their families at the end of the day. So we are, as a community, just keeping that deputy and their family in our thoughts at this time. The suspect, meanwhile, I know that is a big thought on all of your minds right now, asking whether that suspect's been brought into custody. I'm connecting with our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford. The confirmed information that we can report to you right now, the latest update from officials is that there is still an ongoing standoff right now in this area of Vineyard Road and Decent Street. That suspected gunman still barricaded, we've been told. So that perimeter still up around the house. We can't get you possibly any closer, but we are talking to the agencies that are involved and receiving updates from them. As soon as we get any information, whether that comes directly from law enforcement, from our reporter talking to some of the neighbors and the witnesses, we are going to relay every single detail for you right here on Atlanta News First. But I just want to make sure that you are getting the latest information from us, so taking you through all of what we know and all that we're still working to get, and just being transparent with you about where we are right now. Like I mentioned when I hopped on here, Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford is going to be joining us here at 3 o'clock with a live report. So we're going to get you back out to a live picture of that scene. And of course, in the meantime, I do have this viewer video. I've showed it a couple times. I just think it's a good visual to kind of give you an idea of what this residential space looks like. It's a quiet neighborhood, pretty typical for what you can imagine the Griffin area, Spalding County area to look like. A couple homes down this street, not too many businesses. Just taking you through this map, you can see further up right here is a couple churches, and then further down, that is the bulk of the Griffin area. Where you start to get a more populated and dense, heavily trafficked area, more population, more businesses. So the good news is there aren't too many people that are in this area. However, there are still residents in this area, so we do want to keep them updated and urge them, if you can at this point, to stay inside as best as you can. You want to let law enforcement do their job, and there has been quite a lengthy perimeter set up just to make sure that everyone, civilians especially, are keeping a safe distance at this time. All right, joining y'all back here now. Again, just touch base with our team on the ground, looking through some social media from you folks from law enforcement agencies, just monitoring for any updates into our newsroom. We are working to confirm the status of the suspect at this time. Right now, we do know that a deputy was shot and is critically injured, very serious condition. Taken to an area hospital, and again, this situation transpiring from what started as a domestic call escalated into a deputy being shot and then an exchange of gunfire. We don't know whether that exchange happened after the deputy was shot or beforehand. And we do know that the bulk of this scene has been a standoff between law enforcement, multiple agencies, and the suspected gunman, who we are also working to learn more details about. We do know from the sheriff's office that they said that they contained the suspect to the home and that they established quite a lengthy perimeter to keep people from approaching that area. When you're talking about an armed person, safety first, of course. Right now, the latest information that we're working to learn is what the update or the status is with that suspect and whether they have been brought into custody or whether this remains an active standoff. Working to confirm that, we have our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, who's going to be joining us here in the next 7 minutes. For those of you that have been here with us on this stream for the past 2 hours, I really appreciate you being here with me. This is a very real, authentic space where we're working to get information minute by minute, and standing here with you, reading all of your comments, and as many of you are trying to do your own research and getting information. Some of you are residents of this area. I appreciate you jumping on and just giving your perspective. With this, we just want to relay any confirmed information we have without sharing any unconfirmed information that might cause confusion. But just to be transparent, we are working on addressing all of the comments and questions that you all have dropped here on YouTube Live, so I appreciate them. Please keep them coming. Anything that you drop, I am monitoring, our digital team is monitoring, and the rest of our team is fact-checking for you. So right now we are currently at 2:54. We jumped on the stream at about 1 o'clock, and we do know that this situation happened a little before 1 o'clock. That deputy was rushed to a hospital with critical injuries, and we have since been following, trying to see when law enforcement would tell us that this area is cleared and that whether the suspect has been brought into custody, whether the suspect has been apprehended, remains unclear at this time. So we are working to get you that information. Again, just following the latest updates. I'm going to keep looking down as I get messages from the rest of our team, monitoring these social media channels that are in front of me here below and talking with you, and of course checking your comments here. With this, I do want to note, with these types of situations, standoffs, we typically see the Georgia Bureau of Investigation getting involved when you're talking about a law enforcement involved shooting. We have not heard from the GBI whether they have responded. I do believe that we have a live picture for you now here on Atlanta News First. So as you can see, our reporter, Brittany Ford, about to hop on here to give us a report, just fact-checking some final details for you. But right now, behind her, that is as close as we are able to get you out. Just beyond the view of our camera is that home. As you can see, law enforcement presence has died down significantly. This is in the area of Vineyard Road and Decent Street. Again, we have since seen less law enforcement parked along these lines. From what we saw when we first arrived to the scene, it was just a police car, a sheriff's office deputy vehicle, and now seems to be less of a presence, but no official confirmation for you at this time as to the status of all of this. I do believe this gentleman right here, we may be able to get a word from law enforcement, but again, our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, just getting ready to give us a latest update as she continues to talk with law enforcement and get you more information about what's transpiring in this area. All right, and joining you back here now as we continue to monitor this situation. Again, final couple minutes before we get you back out live to our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, who's going to just give us a live look at the situation and what's transpired since we first joined you here at the top of the 1 o'clock hour. I do just want to give background. A couple of you are jumping in and out, so I want to, for those that are just joining, I want to give some context to the situation. We have learned that a Spalding County deputy was shot after responding to a domestic call in the area of Decent Street and Vineyard Road. That is a map to my right that you can see. The residential space, not too heavily congested, but definitely some houses and some residents that I'm sure had a lot of concern when they saw the magnitude of police and law enforcement response in the area a little after 1. Now, that deputy is critically injured, was taken to a nearby hospital. We have since learned that the suspected gunman barricaded themselves inside of a home, and that Spalding County Sheriff's Office has been working tirelessly to bring them out in a safe manner that doesn't resolve in more injuries or any loss of life. Now, current details still very limited. We do hope in the next couple minutes to get you some updates, but we do know the Georgia State Patrol, Griffin Police, Clayton County Police, as well as others have been called and have been assisting with this investigation. This would mark the 104th shooting involving a law enforcement officer in Georgia. So talking about December 29th, the last Friday of 2023, and this tragic event. So if you're going to take anything away from this as we continue to talk about the latest developments out of this, we do hope that you send some healing thoughts and just thinking of that deputy, their family at this time, and the Spalding County Sheriff's Office community. I do want to get you out now to our Atlanta News First reporter, Brittany Ford, here with a live look at the situation that we are continuing to follow here, both at the Atlanta News First newsroom, checking in with these law enforcement officials, checking with the agencies investigating this, as well as witnesses, residents on the ground.
Now, with breaking news.
A glimpse at this breaking news now at 3. A deputy shot in Spalding County. A standoff underway right now with that suspected gunman. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Savannah Louie, and that new information just into our newsroom. We're learning that deputy shot is fighting for his life in critical condition. All of this unfolding just an hour south of Atlanta. Law enforcement responding to a home on Decent Street just outside of Griffin. And that's where we find Atlanta News First reporter Brittany Ford. Brittany is live at the scene. And Brittany, you're learning new details on what exactly led up to this shooting.
Well, Savannah, yeah, we know that a Spalding County deputy was shot while responding to a domestic call here on Decent Street earlier this afternoon, or earlier this morning, rather. And you can see still an influx in law enforcement presence out here as police say that suspect has now barricaded himself inside the home and what has turned into an hours-long standoff. But you could take a look. This is cell phone video that a neighbor shared with us of what things looked like earlier as this all unfolded. Multiple law enforcement agencies, as I mentioned, responding. SWAT teams racing up and down this neighborhood. Now, as of right now, authorities say the deputy has a critical injury. We're told he or she has been life-flighted to an Atlanta area hospital. We'll have no other details on that deputy's condition other than that. But you could take a listen. This is the 911 call as deputies pleaded for backup.
Yeah, we have an officer involved, shots fired in the area.
Scene is not safe for Med 6. PD is telling everybody to back out.
We cannot reach 208 because he is on the ground in front of the window where the guy shot.
And again, as of right now, that suspect is still barricaded inside that home. We've also talked to some neighbors and heard that the electricity is off in the entire neighborhood out here as, again, police are doing all that they can to get that man safely out. But as of right now, again, still a very fluid situation. We will bring you the latest on air and online at Atlanta News First. Reporting in Spalding County, Brittany Ford, Atlanta News First.
Brittany, thank you. Atlanta News First is continuing to monitor this breaking story. We're going to keep you updated all throughout this next hour here on air. Be sure to get the Atlanta News First app to have those breaking alerts sent straight to your phone as well.
And just wanted to cut into our Atlanta News First TV coverage. If you are watching us on air right now, we are following the situation. We are also making that available for you via our digital platforms. I know some of you want an update on whether that suspect has been brought into custody. The latest of what we know, and we're checking in pretty consistently with law enforcement, is that it is still an ongoing standoff situation. And sometimes it is just better to relay the confirmed information for you than the speculative information. So I do hope you understand that we are working tirelessly to get you the most up-to-date information. We do understand that there are residents in that area who are concerned as to what is transpiring here. So we are working to get you continued updates and anything that we learn directly sent out to you through our digital platforms and on air on Atlanta News First Plus. I do want to take you now to our website, atlantanewsfirst.com, where you can continue to monitor all of the developments that come out of this. As soon as we learn, excuse me, that advertisement popping up unexpectedly. As soon as we learn any information, we will push that directly out to you via our Atlanta News First app. It is a free app. You can select specific notifications you want. If you only want to know about breaking news in your area, you can modify your notification preferences, and then we will alert you when there is an update and a major development that transpires in this situation. For now, I do appreciate all of you who have joined me here at Atlanta News First Plus. Please continue to follow the latest information to come out of this, and we will keep you updated on air and online on Atlanta News First and Atlanta News First Plus. Thank you so much.